ScaryDAve at Thechurchofdave, and welcome to my video, Plato's Cave, Reloaded. So today I'm going to tell you a little story that goes back a while. I'm going to change a little things, going to modernize it, make it sort of my own sort of thing a little bit, but it does come from somebody else, so I am sort of ripping it off and raping it just a touch. Oh, and why am I talking like some heavy metal wrestling announcer? I don't know, it just started coming out this way. Now, today's story goes back quite a while. Plato, Socrates, that kind of stuff. It wasn't exactly yesterday, but yeah, I think it's pretty relevant, even though I do make a few changes here and there. Before I get into this, I want to describe some of the things that I do and some of the reasons I do it, because every once in a while I get a little heat. Jesus. From people who don't quite understand what it is I'm doing. You cuss too much, you're an asshole, you're pornographic, and blah, 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 blah. You know how it goes. Of the people on YouTube, since I'm not a subscription whore like Azrianok, I enjoy a pretty loyal following, so I don't get that many bad comments. I enjoy mostly positive comments on all my videos. I enjoy mostly, I'd say almost exclusively, except once in a great while, positive emails that say, thank you, you helped me, you helped me work through some stuff, you helped out my kid, so on and so forth. I get a lot of letters from parents talking about how I helped out their kid work through a hard time, or their sister, or their brother, or things like that. I get a lot of that. I'm a lucky guy, and I appreciate that, so keep them coming. So before I get into the story, I just want to point out a couple of things. When I was raised, I was what you called a high-risk child. I was in a household that wasn't exactly happy. I was in a situation that was, I think, how do they describe it? Fucked. Yeah. I pretty much raised myself. I had a house, had clothes, had food. My parents loved me. They just were never around. And, well, that's the way it goes. My dad made his choices. My mom she had to work, and it wasn't exactly her fault, and she didn't know what to do with me. She was from a little town in Kansas, and here I was growing up in North Hollywood, California, exposed to all sorts of things she was never exposed to as a child or an adult. So, I felt that I always had an understanding of what us high-risk kids had to go through, and I don't know if you've ever noticed that there's a theme going through my videos, but for the most part, most of my videos have to do about a certain kind of morality system. There's always a hidden agenda in each of my songs, in each of my videos. There's always this thing, and if no one's figured it out, it's aimed towards people who are having a hard time, who don't respond to the conservative world, the church-going world, the judgmental world. There's a certain kind of person that just isn't going to respond to that kind of stuff, but they still deserve to have a chance to make it in life. They still deserve to feel good about themselves, and it's those people that I speak to the most. When I was a kid, they brought to my school a film. A film called Scared Straight. I haven't looked here on YouTube, but it might be here. That was the first time I found out what tossing a salad was all about. Oh my God! I think I was 12, 13 years old, and all of a sudden there's this big one-eyed black guy on the screen talking about how if I came to his prison cell, he was going to make me his bitch, steal my shoes, and make me eat jelly off his asshole. What the fuck were these people thinking bringing this to my classroom? I'll tell you what they were thinking. They kept me the fuck out of prison, because I didn't want to have to go through that. And why did they bring that to me? Because it was fucking real. It was actually going down in life, and they were preparing me to deal with a fucked up world. They didn't just shelter me till I was 18 and go, here you go, boy, you're on your fucking own. No, they gave me a real good idea what was going on out there. And I, in the past, have been, believe it or not, requested, invited, and brought back to numerous high schools to talk to children, if you want to call teenagers children, I don't, to talk to these kids about the repercussions of their actions, the enormity, the permanence of their decisions as young people, and the choices that they make. Now, you could go the route that I went and learn the hard way and risk really fucking your life up, but on the other hand, you could have someone come to your school and teach you those things in a way that you understood, in a way that you related to, in the way that clean-talking, church-going teachers couldn't do for you, because you, as a fuck-up, didn't have any respect for them. But as a fuck-up, it's pretty easy to have respect for me or people like me, because it's obvious I've been there. They don't want to take advice from people that have never been there. They want to find out what it was like from people who were actually there. And let me tell you, well, I didn't go to prison because I saw Scared Straight, and I didn't feel like eating jelly off of some fucker's asshole. And if that offends you, I'm sorry, because if it offends you but it keeps some other kid out of prison, it keeps him from stealing and robbing and shooting innocent people, I'm all for saying jelly on assholes. So if nobody's ever figured out, I do have a sort of a morality system. I am a highly religious person, although I don't discuss my religion with other people. What I do is I practice it. What I do is I live it. I don't engage in rituals. It's true, I haven't been to church since my first girlfriend went out on a church outing to the Rogue River in Grants Pass, Oregon, and was sucked into an undertow and bashed against the rocks underneath the water for a couple of days and turned up a bloody, rotten, smelly corpse down river a few days later. Yeah, I forget who it was that had her by the hand when she was sucked out of his hand and destroyed, and her life was cut short as a child. Yeah, even if I knew who that guy was, I think it'd be immoral to tell you. But yeah, I've still got her Bible. I've still got the news clippings saying that what had happened. Yeah, that was the last time I went to church. And if you have a problem with that, if you have a problem, if you have any questions about me and God, well, tough, because anything between me and God is between me and God. And, that's the way it goes. Now, any God in this world has had a chance to take me out numerous times. I've been hit by 21 fucking cars. I've been shot at. I've been chased with knives. I've been chased with cars. I've been run off the road. I've had 3 heart attacks. I've been dead twice. If someone wanted me gone, I'd be fucking gone. So for whatever reason, somebody, something, or nothing, depending on your religious beliefs, either left me here or didn't. So whatever. I like to think I'm here for a reason. I like to think that I'm doing this world some good. And I'm never going to be the conservative stand up in front of the pulpit kind of guy that tells everybody to be straight and narrow and don't cuss and things like that. It's just not me. I don't know how to do that. I'm just never going to be able to do that. So what can I do that? I can talk to the people who understand the way I live, understand the way I speak. High risk individuals, people who are on the fence, people who are pissed off, been fucked over, people who have been raped and beaten and mentally abused and told that they're pieces of shit. Those people who unfortunately have shitheads for fucking parents, shitheads for guardians, shitheads for bosses, shitheads for authority figures trying to run their fucking lives. Those people who are just this far from going out and shooting someone in the head out of frustration, those are the people that I, for the most part, try to talk to, because I pretty much want to talk them down off that ledge, I don't want them jumping off that building. I don't want them throwing a bus off it either, squishing all the innocent people. Because you know what? Anger, frustration, it's all fucking contagious. If you fuck with someone, chances are they are going to go fuck with someone else. And what I'd like to do is get between the two of those fuckers and stop the fucking. Well, not the good kind, but you know what I mean? Anyway, if you haven't figured that out, there is an underlying theme in most of the things I do. Don't cheat, don't lie, don't steal. Don't kill, don't rape, don't maim, don't abuse people, don't be a fucking bully. You know what bullies are? Pussies. Because bullies are just people who are such a fucking pussy that they can't handle the fact that life is rough on them, so they gotta go take someone weaker than them and fucking pound on them. Right. Pussies. Right. So if you're a fucking pussy, you fucking bullies, we know you're fucking hurting. We know you're having a hard day. Lighten the fuck up and save yourself from the fucking hatred. Anyway, I'm kind of rambling, but yeah, it's what I do. So, if you haven't gotten it yet, I'm not out to ruin the world. I'm not out to corrupt this world's youth. No, take the homework song. Do your fucking homework. Take that song. You know how many parents write me letters and say, "Oh, Dave, that is a great song. I play it for my kid whenever he won't do his fucking homework. Because he won't listen to me, but once I get him laughing over you, he tends to do his homework." So that's what I do. if your kid is a goody two-shoes and does everything he says and so on and so forth, then wonderful. You're doing a good job. Hallelujah. But if your kid is on the fence, you might want to send him to me, because I might be able to scare him straight. Or at least laugh him into it. All right, now that we covered that, I encourage you to go and read. You can look it up on Wikipedia or one of those things. It's just write in Google. Oh, I hate to advertise. Google, geez, I wish they'd pay me for that. Oh, wait a minute, I think they do. Google Plato's Cave so that you know what it is that I'm talking about, because I am going to make some changes to it, all right? Here we go. Plato's Cave. There was these people, see, and they were chained sitting on the cave floor facing a wall. Even their heads were chained in such a way that they couldn't look around. All they could do was see the wall. Now, behind them was a raised platform, and behind that was a big-ass fire. And there were people that brought them their food. There were people that walked across this platform, and in doing so, they put these shadows up on the wall. So every time someone came to do something, hose them down, give them food, things like that, keep them alive, basically, they saw these shadows. And it became an important sort of a thing to learn how, I know, I'm changing this story. Fuck it. Anyway, so between the crowd that was all chained to the floor, there was this skill of being able to identify this shadow from that shadow. Who were the shadow? Well, the gods, of course, because they were the ones that brought them the food. They were the ones that kept them alive. They didn't realize they were the ones that enslaved them. Let's say these guys knitted plates or something. They did something for the gods that the gods needed. So they were basically enslaved, but in fact they thought that they were being saved and taken care of. Right? Okay. The same as your rabbit in the cage. He gets all excited when you bring him food, right? Wouldn't he be more excited if he was out running free? Oh, but you save him from the wolves and the coyotes. I don't know about you, but I'd rather be out getting chased by wolves and coyotes than living in a fucking cage. Well, that's just me. Some people are different. Sometimes when they let go of the slaves, they never left the plantation because they were too fucking scared. All right, back to our story. So everybody was living, along nicely, and every so often they'd get some fucking troublemaker that didn't like his chains. He didn't like sitting there all the time. He'd complain. And what did he get? Fucking ridiculed by everybody else. How could you not like this? They bring us all our food. They take care of us. Blah, 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 blah. And they're really the ones that were seen as the really important slaves were the ones that could identify certain shadows on the wall. Oh, that's the god of food, that's the god of clothing, that's the god that brings us yarn to knit plates out of for them, that's the guy that brings us the license plates we make for them. It was learning all about what they could actually see in front of them. And the ones that could identify it the best, oh, well, they were the most important, smartest ones, of course. But the ones that sort of kind of saw through it, the ones that sort of thought, something wrong with this, those were the ones who were most often ridiculed and sometimes punished. Yeah, punished for trying to be free. Go figure. That reminds me of, a country called America. Anyway, so the situation went on, and, these ones were held up for liking the things, and this guy over here, he was being punished for, And anyway, and there was this one guy, he kept trying to escape from the chains. You're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to do that. Try to escape. That's against the rules. That brings up things like, oh, yeah, The Matrix. Is this starting to sound kind of familiar? How about City of Ember? Oh, wonder where that idea came from. Yeah, right, Plato's Cave. So anyway, this one guy kept trying to escape, and they kept fucking with him, and so he got really good at learning how to escape quietly while nobody was looking. And eventually, he figured out a way to get out of his chains, and he did. And he stood up, and everybody told him, oh, Jesus, you are in such fucking trouble when the gods get a hold of you. And he was like, whatever. And he turned around, and he noticed, hey, there's this big walkway. Hey, there's a big old fire over there. And at first, the fire kind of blinded him because his eyes weren't used to it. He was just like, oh, what the hell is that? And fear set into him. Now, some other people had gotten up before him and saw this and said, holy fuck, and sat down and put their goddamn chains back on because they couldn't handle the fear. Oh, not this guy, that. No, not our hero. He was like, what the fuck? And then he saw someone coming, so he hid in the corner, and he was like, what the hell is that? And it turned out to be one of his captors, one of his enslavers. He'd been there all his life. He was born into it. He didn't even know the idea of slavery until he realized that those motherfuckers over there are taking care of those motherfuckers over there and calling it benevolence when it was really, fucked. So, pretty soon, someone realizes that the chains have been broken somewhere. Oh, and the bells start ringing, and all sorts of noise starts happening. And he realizes, oh, he's been busted. And the gods, I'm sorry, I meant the fucking assholes who enslaved these motherfuckers, start running around like crazy. And in doing so, oh, the shadows go nuts. Well, look at this. Think about the other people that are still chained to the floor. What were they thinking? Holy crap, he gets out and all these horrible noises start happening. Oh, the shadows start going crazy. The gods are furious. So the price for him gaining his freedom right off the bat is he drives everybody else insane. They're all scared to death because they have no idea what the hell is going on as a result of this motherfucker getting free. And their whole fucking world is just forking. Their whole fucking world is just going to hell. I can't seem to talk anymore. And meanwhile, this guy is over here hiding in another part of the cave going, holy shit, I need to get the fuck out of here. And he starts running. When he starts running, oh, one of the enslavers, that motherfucker, sees him. And he whistles and grabs a torch, and they start chasing him down the fucking cave. And he starts running, of course, away from them. And he starts running and running and running, and he's running into the blackness. He can't see where he's going except for by the light of the torches behind him. And he realizes that, oh, hey, look at that shadow down there. If I just follow it, it seems to know where to go. And then eventually he figures out, wait a minute, that's my shadow. That's me telling me where to go. Yeah, this brother's having some serious epiphanies today, isn't he? Yeah. Got a parrot in the other room watching Star Wars going, it's kind of fucking distracting. Luke, I am your father. ADD, what's that? All right, so pretty much we got it pretty much, it's sort of turning into a bad movie. He's running, the same wall keeps going by and going by. There wasn't a big budget on this one. Anyway, somehow, miraculously, this poor guy who's never even stood up is outrunning the guys with the torches. Well, I don't know how to explain it, but, run, Forrest, run. And then, in a way that makes almost as much sense as time travel movies, the guys with the torches start wearing out before he does, and they start falling back, and pretty much, pretty soon, still can't talk, pretty soon he's left in the dark all by himself going, oh, crap, what do I do now? We've all been there, right? So he's faced with a choice. He's like, I'm out here in the dark, nobody's going to take care of me, how am I going to eat? I'm going to starve to death, and he's faced with the choice of death, sure death, because he doesn't have any idea of any other choices but to keep going into the darkness, or he could turn around and go back and take his punishment because he's too ignorant. He's never been taught how to deal outside of the world that he grew up in. He can only understand what he sees in front of him. But somehow he digs down deep and he decides that now that he knows that he's been a slave all his life, he'd rather die. He'd rather die as a free man than go back to being a slave. Sounds like, oh wait, they taught me that in school because I was an American. Well, luckily this guy got bored easily, kind of like me, so he just kept walking in the dark, feeling his way along the walls, trying to figure out what the hell is going on. And just at the point when he was about ready to give up, just the point where he was just about fucking had it with all this whole thing, and he was ready to bash his head against the wall out of fear and yeah, well, anyway, luckily he was just pissed off enough that he didn't have what it took to kill himself. All of a sudden, there was the tiniest little light down in front of him, and he thought, holy crap, they've somehow figured out how to go around and get in front of me, and now they're coming to get me from that side too. So now he's got a choice. Go back to where he knows he's going to get, all of them, or go forward and fight his way out. Go forward towards the light, which he knows is a torch. He knows it's a fire because it's all he's ever seen. And he thinks, well, crap, fuck it. If I'm going down, I'm taking some of these motherfuckers with me. Oh, yeah, an idea that, well, they had veterans come and talk at my school when I was a little kid, and they taught me the same fucking thing. Die for your freedom, or fuck you. So he prepares himself for his inevitable demise, and he heads down there to go get himself slaughtered. At least he won't have to commit suicide now. And he runs towards the light, and it gets brighter and brighter and brighter, and pretty much... Jesus, I wish I could talk. And pretty soon it gets so bright, he can hardly see what the hell is going on. Hell, it's not even the same color as a fire. What the hell is this? And since he figures his life is over anywhere, he goes, what the hell? I might as well do it. Go into the light. Now the light just keeps getting brighter and brighter and brighter. It hurts his eyes, so eventually he has to sit down and just sort of cover his eyes and try to get used to it. And as time goes by, he starts noticing there's all sorts of stuff on the ground he's not used to seeing. Moss, water, little animals and creatures walking around. What the hell is going on here? Nothing makes sense, but it's better than what he's used to, so he keeps going. And eventually his eyes adjust, and he gets to the mouth of the cave, and he's like, I have got to be dreaming. This must be a delusion. There's something wrong with this. What the hell is all this stuff? And he walks out of the mouth of the cave into the real world. Holy crap. So, of course, now he lives happily ever after. It's the end of our story, right? No. Now it really gets fucked up. So he goes out into nature, and nature promptly starts kicking his ass. Oh, chiggers, fleas, bears, and wolves. He has to start learning how to fight for his life and figuring out how to feed himself. Oh, what misery. I guess I could just go back in the cave and let other people take care of me and feed me. And every time he thinks that, he's like, bears aren't so bad. So eventually he kind of masters life. He's got a nice little house. He's doing good. He's eating a whole bunch of bear. Sorry, vegetarians. Yeah, PETA's not in this story. And I'm sorry, lots of animals were harmed in this movie. So, and he's doing pretty well, and everything's going along fine, except he's got this little tinge of guilt. He's poking at him. And he's like, fuck, I left all my friends behind. Yeah, they're dipshits. They don't know what the fuck's going on, but Jesus, it's just because they don't know. And he starts getting this crazy idea of going back into the cave to save his buddies. Oh, Jesus, what is this guy thinking? Anyway, so he heads on down to the local sports chalet and starts buying up all sorts of backpacking equipment and ropes and carabiners and good shoes. And, he gets that dried food and everything so he won't starve along the way. Yeah, he hits a gun store, picks up an M60 and such. No, I'm sorry, he doesn't get a machine gun, but, that'd been good. Rambo goes back in the cave. That would have been good. No, sorry, he doesn't do any of that. He goes back in barefoot, knowing that he'll probably starve along the way, knowing that he'll probably get killed trying to save his buddies, knowing that even though he could just run off and be free, he's decided to just give up his life to go save his friends, his countrymen. Where have I heard this shit before? Oh yeah, school, because I'm a fucking American. Anyway, stupid as it may seem, he goes back into the cave, and he gets scared when it's dark, but he realizes, it'll be fine. I just got to keep feeling my way along. Eventually, I'll see that fucking fire. And he gets in there, and he's hiding, and he's watching everything, and he sees the guards walking around. Gods, guards. They're very similar words, aren't they? Especially when you may speak as much as I do. So, I sound like a Bush on beer, don't I? And so he gets in there and he's hiding in the corner. He waits until the coast is clear and he runs over to his friends. And he does have, he's got a little jug of water and he does have a crude knife that he's got because bear's hurt. And he's got a couple of claws around his. So he looks a little strange. Anyway, he gets back in there and he goes to his friends and he goes, hey, I'm back. You'll never guess what had happened. And they're like, whoa, get the fuck away from me, because all they remember is all the hideous noises, and the shadows got pissed off, and all this sandal flopping noises behind them they never heard. So they're like, get the fuck away from me. You're evil. Go away. We don't like you. They think he's back from hell or something. He's some sort of evil witch. He's something they don't understand, so they have to persecute him. And they start ringing the bell. Have the guards come pick him up. But one guy says, hey man, wait a minute, take me. So he busts off the chains and they both run out. And they get out to the front and the new guy's like, oh, hallelujah, this is awesome. And he runs off and the guy that goes in, he says, wait man, we got to come up with a plan. We got to go in and save the others. And the new guy says, oh, fuck you. I'm not going back in there. Which leaves our hero standing there scratching his head going, wait a minute, I came back after you. And the guy says, yeah, well, that's because you're a fucking idiot. Thanks. Later. So now he's faced with a choice. Oh, who do I want to be in life? Because he knows of a certain few kind of people. Who do I want to be in life? Would I like to be the slave? Would I like to be the master? Would I like to be the guy who gets freed and then just runs off, the selfish little bitch that he is? Or would I like to be the guy who's willing to risk it all to save everybody else? Yeah. Who are you? Yeah, I know who I am. But I ain't bitter. That's it. It's the end. What do you want, a fucking Disney ending? Go home.